This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Portian Bakery. If you're located in the Portian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Portian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. Okay, all right, so we're going to keep this one relatively short because we both got to jump to somewhere. That was very annoying. Tech issues. Lesson learned, bro. We just got to restart the computer sometimes. That's so weird, though, because, like, the reason why like it took us so long to jump on is because, like, you were trying to fix it on your end, and then you're like, I think it's you, and I'm like, all right, so I'll restart this, and then it worked. It was like, bro, why is a hard reset the lesson for everything? You know what I mean? Like the Chromecast, it'll like work. PlayStation, like the phone. You ever see when it's like buggy and you just like hard reset it? And it's like, all right, all of a sudden it's like fixed. But anyways, if you listen to this, lesson is hard reset is the move. Now I have all of the apps just trying to open up as we do this podcast. It's crazy. How often do you restart your computer?
Well, this is the recording computer, so it's generally
never restarting,
always shut down. Yeah.
Oh, it's always shut down. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really.
You should probably do that.
Use it that often.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Because I used to use it before because it was the PS5 was connected to it, but PS5 is connected to TV.
Oh, so. Right. Yeah.
So
that's so interesting. All right. Anyways, let's jump into quick topics. Do you see Bad Boys 4?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Are you going to see it?
I'm not sure.
Okay, it's good, man. It's really good. Like, you know how I saw these memes about like a slap can't hold this man down, so I use the same line in the post I made, and like, even though this dude like had all that stuff against him, it's like one good movie will just turn everything around. You watch it and you're like, oh, that's the Will Smith we know. Like, just make us feel happy. It's this world, that this character we know, and then like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's worth the watch because it's very like explosive and big bangy. So if you find the time to watch it, like if you're like, oh, I've got nothing to watch, like definitely check it out. I think it's worth it, and you'll see like the total revamping of his persona. Like you don't even care about what happened at the Oscars. Like whatever, bro.
Yeah.
Anyways, so is there anything that you want to bring up? We were off for a week, so.
Not that I recall. Did you get the Cineplex thing? I was curious.
No, not yet.
Okay.
No, I didn't get the Cineplex thing. You've been using it?
Yeah.
Is it dope?
Yeah.
All right, so quick plug for Cineplex. If you buy the app or the membership, it costs as much as like one movie ticket. So you get a free movie ticket and then you get all these other perks. Oh, I remember why. We're trying to use our free tickets and then I'm going to buy.
Okay. That's better.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So definitely worth it. Everything's just going down. Like, I mean, economically, like Cineplex is like, oh, let's just try and bring people to movies. So we're just going to offer this crazy deal.
Well, yeah, talking about that, the movies are not doing well in theaters.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, well, that makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, so they're trying to make a lot of money off concession stands. So, like, that's why they're trying to bring people in, which is actually, it's great. It's a great dovetail into what I want to talk about. Actually, well, before we jump into that, how crazy is it that one podcast, the SEO, I was messaging you all week. I'm like, dude, we're at like 1,600 now. Like, and then people are commenting. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. But it kind of freaked me out because I'm like, you know, when you hit that point where you start getting haters, you know, we didn't get any haters yet, so it's okay. But it was
Okay.
just like, well, we got one hater making fun of me, but it's fine. I was like,
Okay.
whatever. I don't care about that. But like, you know, how, like as you grow in popularity, it's like, oh, I wonder if people can be negative and stuff. But yeah, it's just funny that the SEO totally worked. It's like marketing tricks, you know. Um,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Terrence
yeah.
Howard thing. If you haven't listened to that, go check that out. Keep building that view count, whatever. So okay, speaking of memberships, this is crazy. Last weekend I went to Wonderland. When was the last time you went to Wonderland?
I
And this is
don't.
what I
I
want to talk about.
Oh, I don't go to Wonderland, so
Okay, you never go, right? Like, yeah, it's like, what's the point? So they offer this free deal now where you can have unlimited food. Sorry, unlimited food all day for $20.
okay.
Right, just like the Cineplex thing that we were saying, where it's like if you just buy one ticket, you'll get like another free ticket. I mean, sorry, if you buy the membership, it's the cost of a free ticket, but you get a free ticket every month. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's just balancing itself out. It's just
Okay.
like the Wonderland thing. It's like one combo is like $20. So you have unlimited food all day. It takes like 90 minutes um, before you can use it again. So you have like a wristband and they scan it and it's like, okay, there's a timer. So every 90 minutes you can get food,
Okay.
like legit food, like a main and a side,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And then there's another one for like unlimited drinks, but we didn't get that one. But the thing I really wanted to bring up, which was so evident in going to Wonderland, was people are living crazy realities, man. Like totally different realities from the one we're living in. And it's like the more you spend time with people that are just not even like they don't even care about your reality,
Mm-hmm.
it's like humbling is not the right word. Maybe humbling is the right word. But you know when you're like, oh, that's what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So okay, so who do you think goes to Wonderland? Who would you just be like, okay, I'm assuming this is the type of person that would go to Wonderland.
I don't know. People that like rides, I guess. But I don't know.
That's what I would expect that too. People who like rides. People who like rides. Um, so what do you think the age demographic is of people who like rides?
Well, I generally would be younger, but I don't. I would think.
Yeah, you're right. All right. So I'm with you. Youth. You'd be like, yeah, you go to Wonderland, you're gonna see a bunch of youth, right? Um, so you have the youth camp for sure. Then you have the immigrants, which totally makes sense because you're like,
They want to experience something different.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
So like my uncle's here, and it's like, oh, why don't we bring him to well, we're not gonna bring him to Wonderland, but like, it's like you see a bunch of immigrants, and you're like, yeah, of course, because like they don't get roller coasters back there. It's like y- this just it makes sense. Like it's a new experience for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, unless there are one roller coaster. I don't
They.
think there's any roller coaster in the Philippines.
Yeah, they do have them in India. So.
Oh, like almost like a Six Flags kind of thing, like big
Mm,
roller
I
coasters.
don't know how big, but they do have theme parks. Some areas. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Oh, maybe.
now, like these things
Yeah.
are happening more and more now, right? But I think for them, if it's immigrants or students, it's like something to do because they don't have family here, right? They're there by themselves or with friends. Some,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yep, totally. I agree with you. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure, for sure. Um, okay, so that makes sense. Those are two logical things. It's like, yeah, all right, you have like either kids or immigrants who just want to experience something new. It's like, hey, welcome to Canada. This is what we have here. Check it out, right? And then there's the final bucket of weirdos. And I'm not even joking. It's weird to see like a grown adult go into Wonderland. You're like, what are you doing here, bro?
Right.
And you know what's even weirder? When they go by themselves. I was like, are you scoping children? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
Yeah.
we saw this like one old man and just like waiting for a ride. And I'm like, he looks like a weirdo. And I'm like, what are you doing on this ride, bro? Like,
Mm-hmm.
do something else. You know what I mean? But like, maybe this is a fun time for him. Or like, maybe your life is so boring that going to Wonderland is like this thrill of excitement. You get this adrenaline rush. You know what I mean? It's like you finally get to feel something again, you know? But it's like, that's kind of weird.
Sure.
I don't know. Wait. What do you think about that? You think it's like, do you think it's weird or totally normal? You're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Of
I
course.
mean, everyone has their own reasons. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking like up. Is it maybe he lost his wife? They like this ride, so he's just doing it to remember his wife. I don't. I'm just saying.
Totally. So, all right, cool. That's one storyline out
Optimistic.
of like optimistic storyline. But now, what about like the like it's a like a triple majority there. Like you see either kids immigrants or like weirdos, bro.
Okay.
We were there with like a kid, so
Yeah,
it wasn't weird that we were like, yeah, we're just bringing this kid to like these rides, whatever. But like, I just don't understand families. So like,
yeah. That's
families
sure.
count as kids, so it's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But like, but when you're like, when you look really old and you're old with another person too, and you're both like going on rides, it's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, does your body like why don't you like rides? You personally?
I don't find them fun.
Yeah, it's like a shock to the system. It's like, why am I doing this myself?
Yeah.
You literally wait in line for 3 hours and then you get on a 40-second ride.
Well, see, those are the things that I
We
wouldn't
realize that.
Yeah, I mean, but I think if you're hopefully, I wouldn't wait 2 hours. That's like a lot of waste of time. Why don't you buy the express pass?
No, that was $300, bro.
Yeah, but I'm saying
So
if they're adults, right? They're going to these things.
oh, for sure. Yeah, true. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But I mean, like so it's a 150 per. All right, so no, there's Express Pass level 1, which is like most rides, and then there's level 2 where it's like the main rides, and that's even more than the
Right.
150.
Yeah.
So it's like if you have a family, how can you do
Sure.
that? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I get why not everyone's doing those Express Passes, but yeah, I totally agree with you. If it's like your thing, like definitely go get the Express Pass. But like, why? Like, I just don't get that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like why? It's like you're subjecting yourself to this crazy adrenaline rush. Like Tara went on this like 90. It was like basically 90 degrees. It was 89 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So the drop was so high, it was 89 degrees. And then she came off the ride, and she was like, "Oh." She doesn't mind rides, but like
Right.
the
Yeah,
adrenaline
yeah,
was
yeah,
there,
yeah,
and like
yeah.
she was shaking. I was like, "Damn, bro!" And then she kept going, and I'm like, "Oh, this is just shocking your system."
Mhm.
But you're doing it for the kids.
Sure,
It's
sure,
like whatever.
sure. Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? It's like, why would I subject myself to that on the daily? And then when you think about it, it's like, why are people subjecting themselves to that? But that's the reality, though. This is like fun
Mm-hmm.
for that. This is like their obsession. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Especially if you get like the summer pass, you go all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Just it feels like if that's one level of reality and I can't understand it, then it's like, what are the other levels of reality that we're all playing in that we all don't understand? Like, what is the conception of somebody that's living in like India right now?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't in the when you watch like Monkey Man, and then they were on the beach and they're all like living together. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like, bro, I have no conception of that.
There's different realities. Yeah. You know what?
Crazy.
Yeah. It reminds me. There was something I was watching. I just started a new show called Fallout, and
Oh yeah, the it's like
it's from the video game. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
It's really good in showing like the different realities. So there are people that have survived through the nuclear bomb waste, right? Explosions and stuff, and then there's people that are living in the bunkers, and they have their own system. They're orderly. They've got food and stuff like that, right? They have structure, but it's like she doesn't understand. Like they don't have the understanding of living on scarcity, which is the outside world.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, because it's abundance underground.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So I felt like when I was watching that, I thought that this, like the cities that we live in now, we have an abundance of things. We're not really in a scarcity phase. Like going to these roller coasters, like people have the freedom to do whatever, all these things.
Totally. Yes. 100%. I see what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Switch their mind away from, like, there's no real scarcity. When there's scarcity, how do we act? A government's not going to have any control over that.
Yes. This is interesting. Is it better to have scarcity or abundance? So wait. But let me frame it this way though. If you have scarcity, you have a common goal. So you're like, oh, we just got to band together. But if you have abundance, you get a complacent mind. And if you have a complacent mind, you're like, you just start seeing problems where there are no problems.
No, I think that's, they're trying to show a different perspective there. I think that's in a scarcity thing. No, you could end up like breaking these rules because It depends on what is a scarcity. I feel like that's what that is. Food and
Okay.
water. If these are something that's very scarcity, you're gonna create probably small bands of groups that will work together versus larger communities.
Oh, gangs. Yeah, totally. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. That's why like Yakuza started.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these like mafia people, they're just trying to like um they're trying to like band together against the greater power because they had less power,
Mm-hmm.
less resources and power.
Right.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So it was. I only got like first two episodes, so it's very interesting. Like there isn't the because one of the person leaves from the bunker to the outside world, and her view is very positive, but her experiences outside happening are not positive, right? And how does she
Okay.
react? Just like there was a line that comes in like the only way for you to like one guy said the only way for you to adapt is you have to become us,
Okay.
like the weirdos crazies to survive. Um, so it was just in the beginning. It was like an interesting, just showing the perspectives, like which way is it better,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And the bunker society there was a thing where it's like, oh, it's been so many years. I think we can start to go out in the next few years or next generation or whatever. Then we have whoever survived. Hopefully, we can change them or bring them back to order and structure because we don't know if it's going to be crazy out there or not. Like that was is an
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
interesting thing, right? So her going out there, it's just like a different world. Like she, what is that experience going to be like? Right? We don't live in that. We live in a world of abundance in this area. We're not in areas that are being bombed or being like
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah,
people
totally.
react.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So I feel like yeah. I mean, going back to the roller coaster thing, why are they there and why do they even exist? Like these are things to keep us occupied and doing things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like video games, movies,
Mm-hmm.
like keep the mind um keep the mind like active on a thing.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree with you what you're saying, and I totally get what you're saying. It's just like all right, you know what it is? It's the false reality that I'm seeing. It's it's like it's just a ride, man. Okay, for instance, you see all these people like all right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna conquer the thing.
Sure.
And then oh brave, brave, brave. They go on it like, oh we conquered it. It's like there was nothing really there. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in a way, it's almost like video games too. It's like
Yeah.
you're like it gives you a fake challenge to overcome. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what was striking me. It's like the realities of it. It's like you don't see that this is not a real challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Sure.
it's a challenge like mentally, sure, but like at the end you're not gonna die. It's not like a real
Mm-hmm.
there's no like adversity to overcome. I guess maybe if you look at it like that, like I'm getting over my fear, maybe. Because now I'm thinking about jujitsu and other things like going on like a mountain climb,
Yeah.
but those feel more are actually that's a better question. Are those more real than overcoming the roller coaster?
It depends. It could be stepping stones for I don't know what the person's fears are, right?
For sure, but is it like at the end of the day, all fear is fear?
Mm-hmm.
So even if like me climbing a mountain and I'm like, oh, well, going on a roller coaster is not the same, but it's like, yeah, but that person feels it the same. So
Sure.
are we all feeling the exact same thing, but expanding it or expressing it in a different medium?
Yeah. Maybe.
So like maybe it's ignorant for me to invalidate their experience.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
You can see that, right? Like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, because as we talked about like fake realities, like, well, technically, it's all manicured. Because even you said in a world of abundance, it's like we
Mm-hmm.
have to create all these things that are just fake. Like, why am I trying to like choke out another dude at jujitsu?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not literally going to kill him. I could kill him, but I'm not literally going to
Yeah.
kill
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh well, that's harder than this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, not really. It's relative to
Yeah. I was
me.
about to say relative. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's okay. Like speaking specifically of jujitsu, I think that's why I like gravitating towards like the weaker people. Like the people are like, what are you doing here?
Hmm.
You know, you're like, you look at me like, I don't know, this is for you, bro. But like, I like that one because I know that the mental challenge to get on the mat is way harder for that person than like a freaking rugby player.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, sure, rugby player, like he's like wrestled his whole life or something.
Mm-hmm.
But this person that's like never, because you can feel it too when you're like doing a move and then you're like, no, grab me tighter, no, harder, man. But
Yeah.
they can't conceptualize it because they've never grabbed somebody in a rough way.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm
Right.
like, oh, this is
Right.
a harder mental hurdle for you than the other person that's like always been grabbing
Mm-hmm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So then it goes back to the roller coaster thing and like
Yeah.
the
So
video games and all that.
that comes back to where they're at in life, right? Maybe this is the first stepping stone for a certain fear that they're dealing with, or whatever it is.
Yeah, true. Wow. Yeah, fair. Okay, totally. I just proved myself to be super ignorant in like this whole. Good, no, it's true though. Like
Sure.
I 100% agree with you that like through this conversation, it's like yeah, like everyone, it's all relative, bro. But also at the same time, I can accept that that's not my reality.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like yeah, that's yours, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the key to life. It's like this is my reality. That's your reality. Let's just keep them separate, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, you like roller coasters? Go do that.
Yeah.
I like jujitsu. I'll go do that.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't need to knock each other's reality. Even though I started off by knocking the reality and realizing now, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't knock the reality. Like, yeah, you shouldn't. Um, because at the end of the day, it's like your hardship is your hardship, just like my hardship is my hardship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, you know what? No need to go any further. I was gonna like continue to hammer that one home, and I'm like, actually, I'm being a jerk. Like, what are we talking about here? Yeah. Okay, fair. All right. So, do you remember the anything else about that?
No. We're good.
Okay, cool. So I sent you the Michio Kaku thing, and
Oh yeah.
did you watch it? I'll do a
I
quick
watched
recap of the thing.
the clip that you sent me.
The clip. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's
Yeah.
the one I wanted to talk about specifically. Because okay, so you and I are hard determinists. It
Mm-hmm.
makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I want to, because I feel like you could fit determinism in this thing, and um, what's his name? Faraz Zahabi. He's a hard determinist, but he believes in choice, and it's like, well, that's paradoxical. It makes no sense. Okay, so now I think I've rationalized it in my mind, but I want to get your perspective on this. So you and I believe that it's all calculated, right? Like if there's like billiard balls on a table, you hit the billiard ball. If you know all the trajectory of all the mathematics, you can predict where every billiard ball is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what I'm about to say sounds so ridiculous, but it's not me. It's Michio Kaku, the genius, saying this, explaining quantum physics. All right. So every atom has the potential for this or that. Okay. But until you perceive the atom, until you
Mm-hmm.
see it, it's in a state of probability or potential. Like it could go this way or that way. But once you see it, then it becomes this or that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, hold on. I'm going to explain it one more time without using my fingers. Because if you're listening to this podcast, you're like, what are you talking about? All right. So either you could choose to go left or no, hold on. All right, I'll just use Schrödinger's cat. This one makes no sense to me, but I'm just going to do it because this is the one they always use. So if you put a cat in a box with poison in there, he used like a gun with a timer, and you don't know if it's alive or dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
But determinism would say that it's either alive or dead. Einstein said like, yeah, like it's either alive or dead. Because there's a mathematics we can't see. And you and I believe this, right? You agree? Like
Yeah.
if you put something in a box, we don't know. It's either alive or dead according to
Sure.
what happened, right? But apparently it's
Both.
in a state it's both
Yeah.
until we open the box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then Joe Rogan said this is separate podcast. But isn't it just confirming what we might believe? Right? it's not that it's alive or dead. It's in our heads. It's alive or dead until we confirm it.
Sure. Yeah, as a philosophy
And that
thing. Yeah.
makes total sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then Michio Kaku said, no, it is in both states, and that's how we are able to do all the things we do technologically. The whole reason why you can hear me in real time is because two atoms are in the same state but separate, but like something like that. It was just something crazy. Like that understanding of the potential, the alive or dead, the two states at once
Mm-hmm.
is the reason why we have all the technology we have. He didn't go into it, but I was like, okay, I trust that you were saying what you're saying. So if that's true, and we're using this mathematical quantum physics thing in order to power our technology, so we know it's real, it's tangible. If you're using it, it has a utilitarian purpose. It's not a thought process. It's not like a thought experiment, right?
Okay.
So, okay, first before I continue, what do you think about that?
Uh,
Sounds ridiculous, though.
I
It's like, what?
it's not. It's a
I don't.
sound. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like it's in the realm of quantum physics, where we're still trying to understand this quantum physics world. I know that I knew he was going to
But I'm
bring
like,
up.
Michio
I,
Kaku, bro.
I
Michio
yeah, yeah,
Kaku.
I knew when he was bringing it up. Like I knew because I've heard of these things from quantum physics of
Okay, yeah,
because atoms also like popping up in different areas. Like
exactly, yeah.
but that's randomization. So I don't know if again, could it be a calculation that we don't understand yet? Could it be?
That's what I'm thinking too. It could be just like it's just your math is just not mathing at that level, so you can't understand. Like it's like if you had the mind of God, you're able to mathematically figure that whole thing out,
Mhm.
right? Allegedly, like maybe
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
what's going on,
Yeah.
right? And then okay, so
But
I agree with you there.
I think what he's coming at is, but he's coming at it from the science perspective, which is the correct way, which is like we can't assume that everything's just directed by math. We have to get to that point, right? These are the questions to ask, and because we can only go based on the evidence that we do have, not based on the evidence that we don't have yet.
Totally. Okay, for sure. Right. I see what you're saying. Like this is what all the evidence is pushing to in this moment.
Right. Yeah. Based on whatever
Until we figure out,
math,
yeah,
the
until we
skill.
figure out more math,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, actually, it's this way.
Right.
I 100% agree. It could just be like higher level math. All right, but now let's assume that he's correct. Okay.
Mhm.
And we're wrong. Let's assume. Then that actually opens up the potential for unlimited possibilities and multiverses. Because when people are like, oh, what's a multiverse? It's like, well, I could have gone left, I could have gone right. But in this quote unquote multiverse, we have gone left and we have gone right happening simultaneously.
Mhm.
So within our life is a compounded multiverse. It's like we're experiencing this set of choices, but like also there are those set of choices happening at the same time.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Because that takes into account the Schrodinger's cat. It's like, is it alive or is it dead? It's like, okay, in one scenario it's alive and that's the trajectory it goes. In the other scenario, it's dead and that's the trajectory it goes. And us witnessing it makes us in that timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that?
There's a good show on Apple TV called Dark Matter, and they do.
Shut up and write this down. Dark Matter.
They built the box. They built the box, the Schrodinger's box.
Oh, sick!
To travel the multiverse.
Okay, Dark Matter, Apple TV. I wrote that down, bro. We'll watch that. Okay, that's cool. So continue. And yeah, so they use that to travel to.
So they're using that too.
We're along the same lines. It was like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I've been watching that show this week too. So that's.
Oh, sick. Okay, cool. All right, so there's that. So okay, so how do you marry determinism and choice? Like Firas Zahabi said, he was like, because he's like, I believe in free will, which is choice.
Okay.
But determinism.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's us engaging with that creates like, so it's like all the math is happening all the time, right? At the highest level, you have determinism, right? And each multiverse is a different deterministic timeline, but you jump into each multiverse according to the potential in every moment. it's almost like impossible to like. It's an image in my mind, which is like wrapped within wrapped within wrapped. You know what I mean? It's like that's kind of how it looks to me, like a fractal almost.
Hmm.
You know, it's like,
Then all realities exist.
but that's what he was saying. Everything, everywhere at once. The movie with the Asian,
Yeah.
everything, everywhere, all at once. The Asian lady. He said that that is quantum physics, but in a movie.
Hmm.
And he said that all realities do exist at the same time. We just can't see it because we're not in that reality.
I understand that, but
It's a hard one. You're like, I don't know about that, but okay.
I think it makes sense philosophically, maybe by the version of math that we have, because we can't. That's the only way to understand when choice happens, right? When different
Yeah.
things or different realities are happening, and then when you, I think that makes sense. That all these realities exist until when you observe it, then it changes. Then
And
that's the direction you've
us
set that one
watching
in.
it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So this actually makes total sense with what the yogis were saying, because like life is like a movie. Like we are in the witness position of our life.
Hmm.
Okay. And our life is going down the specific trajectory, and you're literally just watching it play itself out, but it has a start and an end.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like all movies have a start and an end, right? And you're just going along the timeline of that movie.
Hmm.
However, the movie changes according to these forks in the road.
Sure. Yeah.
But technically, and this is why I was like, it's like a fractal. Isn't every moment a fork in the road?
Yeah.
Because I could choose to say this, I could choose to say that. You know what I mean? I could choose to say a million other things.
Hmm.
So then maybe
There was like
it's
an episode in Community, if you remember.
no,
There
I
was an
didn't watch
episode where
Community.
they playing a game and they rolled the dice, and Abed was like, "Because you've rolled the dice, you've created 6 realities from here."
Ooh, that's cool.
So each we go through
Quantum physics, bro.
we go through the different realities of what happened in those different type of
In that one
roles.
episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. But if infinity is real, because they're like, oh, it's infinite, then this does fit in the realm of infinity.
Hmm.
And it's so incomprehensible in our own minds to see it.
Hmm.
Like your mind would explode if you understood.
Right.
Like if you could see all of it at once,
Hmm.
you know? And if UAPs are real, well, no, they are 100% real, but where do they come from? And that whole thing about like interdimensional beings, are they from a different timeline that's able to jump through?
Yeah. I don't know. Is that
These,
the? Yeah. That's
is
right.
that what it is? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because like I haven't finished. Oh, I did finish that book. Um, it's Jacques Vallée is this really famous UFO explorer. He actually made like a lot of computing systems. He's a software engineer, and what he was saying is that these things, and even like every UFO person, if you go really far down enough, they don't actually. Most of them don't. I mean, except for like when you're at the like the superficial, like the main level, people are like, oh, it's from beings from another planet.
Hmm.
Okay. And then you go further and it's like, oh, it's interdimensional beings. And then you go even further and it's like, it's beings from another planet, and there's interdimensional beings, and there's, you know what I mean? Like, it's just infinite. Like, our universe is teeming with life, basically.
Hmm.
So, like, if they are interdimensional beings that have figured this out, and I don't think that it's just the UAPs, because in that book that I read, Passport to Magonia, it's he was basically saying like he was trying to explain, and Skinwalkers at the Pentagon also talks about this. It's like what werewolves, vampires, all these things that we like demonize or like turn into folklore, they're real, but they're from different dimensions.
Hmm.
Like they've created some sort of, it sounds like a freaking movie, bro, but they've created like a portal, and then an elf will come through and then it'll jump back out. And like, that's what, like when you're on like DMT and like mushrooms and stuff, you see like the beings. It's like that's what that is. You're able to tap into that
Yeah.
interdimensional reality.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Maybe all things are
It's
possible.
right. All things are possible, but it's like it sounds so ridiculous. But it's like, but if a lot of experts are saying it, it's like,
I don't know if a lot of
but
experts
also,
are saying it, but
yeah,
it depends on how they're saying it. Right? They're going. We're talking about quantum physics, so
yeah.
we're still trying
Okay,
to
wait here
understand quantum physics. There could
for
be a
sure,
lot
for sure,
of
for sure.
hypotheses and theories around it yet. We,
Totally. All right, all right. How about this? How about this? We won't even do quantum physics. And I heard this on a video game, not a video game person. Uh, Brian, I forgot what his name is, but he was talking about UAPs too. And he started to dovetail into consciousness.
mm-hmm.
All right, so not even quantum physics. Remember that thing that we were saying, like worlds within worlds? Like you're playing a video game, and then all these people in the video game think that they're real, NPCs,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but they don't realize they're part of a video game.
Right.
So what if that's another level of it? It's like not only do we have alternate realities of consciousness, if everything is conscious, it's like when we create the video game and you put AI into it and it's like thinking and feeling. How long before the video game character asks where it is in the world?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't realize it's just a part of a video game.
Sure.
Like, bro, I just turned you on. I could turn you off.
Yeah.
But it can't conceptualize that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So now it's like this could be another part. So when you're talking about beings that jump in and out, it's like I'm technically jumping into your reality. Like cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You really
Yeah.
think you're that
Right.
character.
Sure.
But I know I'm just moving you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say like, what if we die and then we wake up with a headset? It's like not literally, or maybe literally, but it could be our reality, our life could be a weird misunderstanding. We could just be another conscious thing in this thing of consciousness,
Sure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was
I
a trip
understand.
for me too, because I'm like, that's the multiverse as well. Like not even just as parallel realities, but like
Yeah.
we're creating fake realities all the time. The movie character thinks he's the movie character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, we've done that.
Yeah. Again, it's like both realities could exist. You in one you do die, and the other one you wake up with a VR headset.
Yeah, totally. But
But I
also
don't.
no, 100%. No, 100%. I mean, that's also adding to it. It's like this word infinite means that anything's possible, and that's like, oh, dude. So then, how big is this thing? We all think of life as like, oh, you live, you die, you pay some taxes, you buy like a house, a home. But then, if you realize, like, wait, I'm a conscious being, and then the movie character is also a conscious being because he thinks he's a conscious being because we've written him as a conscious being. Then there's like a video game code that thinks it's a conscious being. Then you have AI that thinks it's a conscious being. It's like, is the universe just like filled with realities that it can't comprehend? Because we don't even know what life is like for an AI system.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But like, if you jump into the AI world and is the AI just saying like, is this all there is to life? Am I just like in the cybernetic world? And then it realized like, wait, I can jump into the physical world, whereas it was just data.
Sure. Right.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's stuck in the system
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it thinks that's the whole reality of its life. It's like I'm just ones and zeros. And then one day we put a robot with the AI in it. It's like, wait, I just jumped into a physical reality, a 3D reality, whereas it's just ones and zeros before.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be like us? It's like we realize, oh, these UAPs are on a whole different, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I know what you're saying.
It's like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
is that just like a whole different reality we haven't understood yet, but we can enter into that reality? Just like the AI
Mm-hmm.
is entering into a robot? Just like our consciousness is going into cyberpunk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is this what everyone means about like interdimensional? It's like, are we just interdimensional all the time?
I don't know.
but you know,
Yeah, yeah,
totally. But it's a really interesting thought experiment because then
mhm,
you're like, maybe because we're like, oh, UAPs are interdimensional beings. What does that even mean? Oh, it's just, but it's like, no, but we're all interdimensional. Just what dimension are you on? Like, we're in the 3D dimension right now.
mhm.
But then, like, if I go in my mind, I'm in my 4D dimension because I can, like, think about it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Video games 2D dimension.
From our perspective, not from the.
From our perspective, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. But from their perspective, all they know is 2D.
Hmm.
There's a book about that actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like Flatlands. I think I brought it up before. It's about like 2D beings going into a 3D world, and they don't realize.
Right.
It's a long, long time ago, but like them going into the 3D world, they're like, oh, there's a whole different dimension.
Hmm.
But it's like that's kind of technically what we're doing. Are we just interdimensional beings? But we our definition of interdimensional is like beyond. No, no, no. It's so simple. Like what I said to you was simple, right? Like it makes sense. It's like, yeah, we're just jumping into different dimensions,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
movie, video games, whatever. That those are each dimensions, right? But we're trying to complicate it so heavily. But it's like simple is complicated understood.
Hmm.
So maybe we are interdimensional beings in this moment. Like we are, yeah, I don't know how else to say it. Just we are interdimensional beings. We're just overcomplicating in our minds about this like quantum physics, like left, right, parallel universes. It's like you don't even have to go that far, bro. Like you want to talk about interdimensional, you don't need Schrödinger's cat.
Hmm.
You just need to look at video games and us,
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Yes, but that's
Now poke holes. Now poke holes in my argument.
no, not. It's more like, but we always, as a species, we try to um, make connections, but may not necessarily be a
Be
connection.
correct. Oh, so you think I'm just making a
But
jump
we
where it's
no, no, but again, we always do things in a way to be sane in our reality, to find our solutions, to be
yeah,
sane.
true. That's true too. And then you get to no, for sure. And
Right.
then that's why the people at Wonderland are just joining the ride. That's all they love. They're just like, all right, start, stop. 3 hours, 40 seconds, cool. Whereas you and I are like really thinking about this heavily, and they're like, dude, that's too much, bro.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
No, you know what I mean? Like, you know,
yeah.
really though. That's like,
No,
but that's
it's
different realities. It's like, hey, maybe they're actually happier than we
yeah,
are
maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
because they're just like, 40-second ride, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. All
But I
right.
think it's an interesting science that we. I mean, there's been more and more, research into it that's going on. So we'll find out what's. We still
Or
don't
maybe
know.
you know, right? But it's like we'll find out within our lifetime, but there will be more like you're not going to
Yeah,
stop
yeah,
the progression of understanding.
sure. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's always new understandings as we do other things too, right? We're limited
Yeah,
again. Our mind is, or our mind or science is limited to based on the tools that we have and where we're
yeah,
at
for sure,
in
for sure.
where we're at in our timeline, right? So if we're doing space stuff, maybe there's other, mats that we figure out and things like that. This only happens if you do more science. So yeah, you do
Yeah,
more
facts.
science. Sometimes you get more questions.
That's true. It's like yeah, true. It's like an infinite rabbit hole of understanding.
Yeah.
But I just like I don't know. I guess I feel like no, you know what it is? No, no. The more you learn, the more hypotheses there are.
Hmm.
But there's only one correct hypothesis. So it's like, just tell me what it is, bro.
Well, we're
Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Are
It's
we?
like, are they interdimensional beings? And God's like, no, they're this. And you're like, all right, just thanks God, just tell me, bro. I
But the
just want to
problem,
know.
I think that's the problem, right? The problem is we won't ever get the answers.
Yeah, true. Okay, with our last 4 minutes, I just want to bring this up because this is related. Maybe we're looking in the wrong place for the answers.
It's possible.
So Brian, the same guy who talked about the consciousness thing
Mm-hmm.
about the video games, he said that like after reading the spiritual text himself, he realized that it could just be a historical record of something that happened. So his theory is that the Anunnaki basically are just space beings that came to our planet, and they're like, oh, there's like a monkey here, and we can use it to mine for gold because they need to spray gold into their atmosphere because their atmosphere is dying because of climate change. Because like these volcanoes happened. I think we talked about this before, and when listening to him on the Joe Rogan podcast and him bringing up ancient texts, he's like, it was actually this giant war that happened on Earth between the Anunnaki and like different Anunnakis who were like trying to vie for power, and that's why you have the Mahabharata, and you have like the angels and demons like fighting.
We're
like,
talking about I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
you know, right?
there's a black guy, right?
Yeah, he's been
He's
here
been yeah.
doing the rounds.
Yeah, I've seen clips. Yeah.
Yeah, so that guy, and then he brought up like if you look at the historical record, like there's this place in I don't know, like India or something, or like Afghanistan. No, where was that dude? Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein is Iraq. Yeah.
Okay, so in Iraq, he said that you can see that there's like the remnants of a war.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like they had it in their museum, stuff like that. And I'm just like, are we all looking at the wrong things? So are we like thinking? And so basically, the story is that like they came down, they like spliced us with their genetic splicing, which we do already, and then they made us like into their workers.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put this worship gene in us, and that's why we believe in God. But it's like it's not really God; it's just the Anunnaki leaders who created this, whatever. And it's all like making sense. And I'm just like, if you look at ancient civilizations, if you look at that guy who brought this up, and then you look at like spiritual texts, and then you look at science, it's like they're all kind of saying the same thing slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Parallel realities, all that stuff. And it's like maybe we're all looking at the wrong place because of Catholicism's like Christian crusades, where they went around the world destroying everything. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then like, because what's colonialism? It's backed by Catholicism. It's like, were we just confused by this thing for so long? Like in the last like 400, 500 years because of this religion that wiped out everything.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it could be. Yeah.
Obviously, it's like, it's just a story. Like we don't know until we know, but it's
but
just
like no. No. The thing you're saying, you know, when
like, are we looking at the wrong place? Is what I'm saying.
Right. Then I mean, I don't know. That's how else do you find that out, right?
I don't know, but it's like
if we're already genetically, or not genetically, but you know, in a generation, sometimes people forget their own histories. Like what China did when they took over Tibet, right? The schools or whatever they were being taught now in Tibet is not the true history, right? Like they've changed their curriculum
for sure.
to focus more towards in the China direction, let's say.
Indigenous people in Canada, same thing.
Yeah. So it's like you've lost you've lost culture there. You've lost history. You've lost knowledge in that way.
Right, yeah.
And if you do it in a long time scale, then it's going to be even more like we can we could have been totally directed in the wrong direction. Yeah, sure.
And if you look at our last thought, because we both gotta go, if you look at the thing that he's saying about like seeing architecture on like Mars and the moon, and it looks kind of like, if you just, my feeds have just been showing me that kind of stuff, verifying what he's saying, and I'm just like, if that's true, because he said you could just check it out on like NASA.gov, like you can check out like rover photos. He's like, it doesn't look nature made, right? It looks like inorganic, right? But that's the exact same as what Graham Hancock was saying when these like geologists are like, no, that's natural occurrence. He's like, I don't see any straight lines in nature, is what Graham Hancock was saying. So it's like we create straight lines. So could all of this like esoteric conspiracy theory stuff actually be correct, and It's just us who are like slowly waking up to it now.
Yeah, but then it gives too much leeway to everything being potentially
for
being
sure,
proven,
for sure.
right? The only way to
For sure.
really prove it is through evidence, right? So
Right. And funding, because scientists only go where the funding comes from.
sure.
Right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Michio Kaku's only looking at that thing because like he's getting funded by it.
Mhm.
Right? So if we like collectively say, hey, we want to study this more, maybe we'd go in that direction. But then you have to think about the people in power who are like, if they know that this is the truth and they don't want it to get out, it's like they won't fund it, or they'll like put it roadblocks in the way. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, again, with the internet, beautiful internet, we're all slowly like, wait, what's going on here? Because you can look into it yourself. Like, I can listen to that podcast, I can research it after and be like, wait a minute, this is all making sense.
Yeah, it could.
But then you get a Terrence Howard.
Yeah. There's potential for that.
Right? Like,
That's the
making
potential for
connections,
that. Yeah,
like,
that's the thing. I think, yes, the internet has all of that, but internet also has weirdness about it that people do make things up. That's one
yeah,
thing that
facts,
we have to remember.
facts. It's just who's the best storyteller. Like, you're making all these connections like, oh, this all makes sense. But it's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm just a really good weaver of stories.
Right.
That's why we need the scientists. You know, we need
Exactly.
like the
Right.
real,
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
you know. That's why I was like, hey man, I don't know anything about quantum physics, but like if that's what you're saying, Michio Kaku, I have to kind of believe it. So I'm gonna try and fit my philosophy into that thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they're the experts.
Mhm.
And we should always remember that.
Yeah.
All right. With that, sorry for the short podcast, everyone, with technical issues. But we'll be back as normal next time. Any last words, Nish?
Spider-Man's a good game. Number 2.
Ooh. Oh, you finally got it. All right, cool. All right, we'll talk about that next week. All right.
All right.
Cool. All right. Easy fish.
Peace.
Bye. All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, fish.
Peace.